And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Sterling Mire, numerologist, author, and developer of the comprehensive Art of Manifestation system, which enables her clients to attain vital personal goals and fundamental happiness. Some of her esteemed clients include Google, People magazine, and numerous A-list celebrities. Today we're going to talk about her predictions for 2024 and more. Sterling, welcome back. It's great to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about being back. I had such a great time last time, and here we are again, so thank you.
Yes, and last time we talked about manifesting almost exclusively, and I don't know much about your background of being a numerologist, so how did you get into that?
Well, I actually got into studying numerology right around the time when I started really my in-depth studies of manifesting. I've always been an intuitive person. I've always been quite psychic as a very young child. I recognized that about myself. And I also knew that I always wanted to live an extraordinary life. So those are the things that I recognized about myself when before I was 10 years old and 6, 7, 8 years old. As I got older, like I said, I knew I wanted to live an extraordinary life, and I started studying at the age of 16, psychocybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. I really wanted to understand what this thing called life is and how things work, because I noticed at an early age that life was not logical, that I was finding things did not necessarily make sense when it came to results or how things got created, just observing people and the world around me. So I thought there's got to be an answer. And I delved into all of these things, spiritual and mystical, if you will, to just see if they hold any kind of water. Now, I'm a healthy skeptic. So I'm somebody who will study something, but I'll observe it and I'll study it for a very long time before I'm convinced that there is something to it, or there was something consistently delivering, time and time again. Then I start to go, oh, I have respect for this. So whether it be, numerology or astrology, manifesting, all of these things were tried out and they were experimented with for a very long time. Now, numerology was interesting because I wanted to understand that more. And what I noticed was that the more that I read about it, the more that I studied it, the more I saw that there was this continuity. And there are energies. Now, life is made up of energies. Everything is energy. Science will agree with that. And numbers hold energy too. And what's interesting that I found is that I look at it like a season. So we take numbers like even 0 to 9. We always want to reduce it to like a single digit. And that will possess energy. And so it's like seasons. We have different seasons for things. And when it comes to numerology, there's a season or an energy that each number possesses. So 0 is actually the energy of like the Genesis, right? Just like a being stage, not like a doing stage, but like it's almost like infantile, right? It's like a baby is just being, it's not really creating yet in the world. Whereas 1 is about recognizing the I. The 1 is all about going forth, initiating new ideas, taking action, individuality, so you can liken that as, a young child. So there's 1 through 9. And then once the cycle starts over to a 10, it becomes a 1 again. So right now we are wrapping up 2023. And 2023 is really, when I look at these numbers, and again, I've been studying this a long time, and I've been asking other people if the common themes are that which is assigned to each number. And I found that everybody reported the same things. And that's when I really developed this respect and this continued interest in numerology. But going back to 2023, what I like to do is look at the primary energies of the number and also like the secondary and also primary energies of the number. So I look at 2023, take all of that and reduce it down to a single number. If you add them all up, it equates to 7. Now, 7 is about spiritual fortitude, challenges with faith versus fear, introspection, dealing with the challenges in life and learning something from it, growing on a spiritual level. And the 7 is all about that. Sometimes we reflect within, it's very introspective. And it's about, are you going to choose faith? Are you going to choose fear? The challenges that come up in 2023 beg that question, that answer. So then you look at the 2 and the 3, because the 23 representing, this particular year, you combine that and that's a 5. So there's change is associated with a 5. So if you notice, there were a lot of changes may have occurred. There might have also been some travel and adventure in there as well. Change can also be very confronting and difficult for us to embrace and confront. So then you've got that, the 5 energy, and then you also have the 2 and the 3. I look at those lastly, as far as an influence in the year. So the 2 represents partnerships, but it also can represent partial success, yet more to come. So a pause or a delay. And then also the 3. Now I would take the 3 into consideration before the 2. The 2 would be lastly, because the 2 really does represent a whole decade. So you take the number 3, which is groups, socializing, social pursuits, anything that we want to pursue that has to do with socializing or fun or pleasure. That's the energy of number 3. So again, you reflect and you take into consideration and look to see the 7 energy, which is faith versus fear, and also spiritual fortitude, lessons learned, growth. And then you want to look at the 2 and the 3 combined, the 5, and then the 3, and then the 2. And this really sums up 2023.
You don't look at the 0?
No, not really. No, I don't. Because it's not that it doesn't play a part, but it's so subtle that it may not be as recognizable to our, so to speak, naked eye. But the 0 always represents a new beginning. If you think back to the 2000s, 2000, 2001 through 2002, 2003, did you notice, because I did and so many others that I know did, there was a kind of an excitement in the air, like a feeling of inspiration, a feeling of hope, a feeling of a new beginning.
Yeah.
That's the genesis of zeros. And then it changed when we hit 2010. It did. It really did when you think back. And I know it kind of seems like long ago, but when you really think about it, 2010 changed a lot. One of the things that happened in 2010 was that we all got smartphones. It was truly the beginning of smartphones, and that changed our lives in so many ways, because now, we have this smartphone with us and we're engaging with it all the time, and it just rapidly changed things in our lives. But that's another conversation but about that. But anyways, yeah.
Well, how does 2023 set up 2024?
It is really exciting. I have just been talking to people recently too, and it's given me more confirmation about what I know about what's coming in 2024. And that is the 2024 combined is an 8. Now, 8 is all about attainment, enlargement, growth, expansion, success, recognition, monetary success. the material world. It really is the culmination of everything that we've been working on since the one that preceded, the 8 that we're going into, which would take us back to 2019. So if you think about 2019 and you think about what did I wrap up and what did I start back then, which I can totally see. I don't know if you can, but I can totally see a lot of things I wrapped up and started anew. So all of that is like, we're going through these phases, these periods that then set us up for 2024, which is about reaping what you sow, your hard work paying off, success and that recognition, that acclaim. It's like, it's like it was worth it. It was worth being on this path and staying the course. And now it's really paying off. It's also interesting too, because it's the reward for the lessons learned through the challenges of the last, 7 years. If we have learned our lessons well, it's like the universe gives us a green light for manifesting anything and everything that we want, because we have grown and evolved to a place to where we can expand what it is that we're creating and manifesting in our lives. So if we're in tune with these, I call them seasons, they're the external seasons are going to dictate what the theme is for the year. It's also going to, if we really tune into ourselves, we're going to connect with an urge or a motivation to do something that is in alignment with this season or what the energies of the future hold. I've been talking to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks and sharing with them this sort of unfounded excitement or optimism for the future that's kind of just really clicked in. And they said the same thing. And I'm talking to people all over the world, and they're all saying the same thing, that they are feeling better than they have in a long time, that they are feeling a sense of great expectations or something good is coming around the corner. The other thing I want to say about these energies that change every year is what a lot of people might notice is a lot of things might wrap up or end in September. And September is a 9, so it's a completion. And then you go into October, which is a 10 month, and it's a number 1. A lot of people, including myself, have reported like certain things might end in September and then new things might start in October. So it's not what we think. It's going to be just a rush of new energy January 1st, and the new year's here, and so is its energies. It's a gradual procession. It gradually progresses into the new year, and it's much like the dawning of a new day. It's like that beginning morning time when the sun's not up, but it's light outside, and you go, oh yeah, it's a new day. But we don't officially call it a new day until that sun is up. But it is a new day. We recognize it as the coming of a new day. So that's the way that I relate, and so many people I know relate to things ending in September and new things beginning in October. And then this increases as we go into January. So it's really exciting. And I think this next year is going to bring a lot of relief for people who feel like they've been challenged or struggling in the last year or previous years. I think there will be a lot of relief. But the thing is, we have to also take in consideration that we always have a choice. We're always creating our lives, and we're either doing it consciously or unconsciously. So it's not really about just relying on the different opportunities or benefits that each year provides us. The benefits that the year provides us and the challenges that the year provides us. It's really about consciously creating through all of that. And that's going to put you in alignment to maximize the benefits that each year provides us, the gifts that it provides us, along with the challenges.
Is there any urgent thing that's going to happen in 2024 that people need to know about?
Urgent thing. I think that overall, we're always evolving collectively. And what is urgent is for us to really take responsibility for our lives. And when we do that, we're taking responsibility collectively in the world as well, ushering in the new, ushering in the age of Aquarius, which is a 2,000-year span. We all have to work together to do that. There's an incredible awakening going on in the world, and I think that is urgent. I really think the most important thing is all of us awakening to how we are divinely creative beings and taking responsibility for that, understanding how to manifest our lives. And then as we do that individually, it has a ripple effect, and we do it collectively. And we're doing this on a conscious level. It just makes the process of life and the unfoldment and the evolution of the planet so much more of a beautiful experience, or as we progress into this, as the process unfolds, we can enjoy the ride as well as the destination. So I would say that's really the urgency. With all the breakdowns that we've been experiencing in life, the beautiful thing is breakthroughs are born from breakdowns. And we're heading in that direction. And we can accelerate the process of transforming these breakdowns into breakthroughs by simply taking responsibility for our own transformation, our own ability to create, utilizing the knowledge and the tools to do that, which again has that ripple effect, which then becomes collective.
Well, how does somebody navigate through 2024 to maximize the opportunities that are out there, either individually and or collectively?
Well, again, that individual ability to really embrace what is coming up has to do with awakening ourselves, being a conscious creator, being aware of what those opportunities are, and creating an alignment to that. What's interesting too, I'm going to go back to 2024, and collectively, yes, it's an 8, but it's also a 2 and a 4. So when we look at the 4, because it's not like saying 2008, which again is 8 without the in its own original singular form, without the making it, reducing it into a single digit by the 2 and the 4. So we've got to take into consideration the 4 energy. And that 4 energy is about work, creating a foundation for things to grow. So think of it like, if your life represented, what you envision your life to represent is this lush garden, this beautiful garden, and this is what you want to experience in your life. We also have to be a responsibility for the foundation, the soil, the planting of the seeds, and the nurturing of it. So there's an active process there. So you can kind of look at 2024 as you're going to reap all these fruits, if you will, of your labor, but also we still need to tend to that soil and still allow for more to grow in that foundation. So what people will notice is that they're going to be working harder, not harder. I don't want to say that. Let's say smarter. They're going to be working smarter to materialize the things that they want, their goals, their hopes, their wishes, their dreams, and they're going to be putting in that effort next year for reaping those benefits. So paying attention to the work that needs to be done, and work can be like play. Okay, it's got such a bad connotation, the name work. I don't like to use it, but work can be play. So doing what needs to be done in order to continue to flourish and maximize the benefits and the rewards that are coming to us in 2024. So it's think of it as tending to that garden so it continues to grow lushly and plentiful.
For those that are new to numerology, do you have to believe in it for it to work?
No, I don't really believe in anything. What I do is I study something for a very long time. And if I find that I'm getting consistent results or outcomes, I have a respect for it. And I have I pay attention to it. But really, instead of saying it's like a belief, it's more like a respect for something. And I pay attention to it and I continue to observe it and watch it. So no, you don't have to believe in it. It's something that you can engage in, conduct your own experiment. You can engage in it. There's a lot of ways that numbers play a part in our lives. We all have a birth date. We have a birth date, right? And that tells us a lot about ourselves, our purpose, who we are in the world. Connected to that purpose, the reason why we're here. For instance, my birth date is a 16, right? So that's a 1 and a 6. Combine the two, it's a 7. Introspection, challenges with faith. We talked about 7s earlier. I am here to learn to choose faith at all times over fear. And I've watched my journey through my life. And thankfully, I'm at the point to where I will always choose faith and never fear ever again. Just because I've been going through this process of learning, being challenged. Are you going to choose faith? Are you going to choose fear? For so many years that I've found that through my own experiences, investigations, that faith is what there is to choose every time. Then you've got the 6. Now the 6 is all about community, domesticity, coming together, looking out for one another. When we think about the 60s and the hippie movement, it's very reflective of the energies, those intentions there were very reflective of the energies of the number 6. And then you've got, of course, 1, which is initiating, being a leader, initiating new actions and ideas, going forth, independence. So I encourage everybody to be familiar with the traits or the energies associated with each number, and then look to see if those energies connect to the things that you've noticed or observed about your own life. Do they possess the same, those energies and those traits possess the same things you've witnessed for yourself as you've been traversing through this thing called life?
Can you use numerology to help you manifest things in life?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say I don't use numerology to manifest anything. However, how does it tie in? Well, for instance, one of the things that came to me this year that I noticed a desire to manifest was I wanted to take this glorious life of mine and I wanted to expand. I wanted everything to kind of deepen, expand, elevate, evolve. And that was what I was manifesting. But it wasn't till later that I realized that the number 8 is all about enlargement, expansion, growth. And that's when I saw the 2 correlations. But I did not take into consideration or have 2024 and the reduced number of 8 dictate to me or inform me on how I was going to manifest. What happens is if we are consciously manifesting or if we're awakened, we'll already be in tune with the season for whatever we're in, or wherever we're going, whatever it be, like next year, we're going to be in tune with it, and we're going to notice that desire to create something or have something, manifest something, and it will be in alignment to those energies or that season that we're in for what there is to manifest. So it's a little backwards, in other words, I think what you're asking me is like, am I using the numbers in order to manifest? It's no, I'm manifesting, and then I notice that they correlate with the energies of that number. And the only way we can interfere with this synergy, if you will, is if we're blocked by doubt, if we're blocked by fear, if we're blocked by uncertainty or anxiety, if we're blocked by any kind of negative emotions, if you will, then what we do is instead of going with it and really reaping the benefits of what each number possesses, we end up kind of putting ourselves into a holding pattern is what happens. And we go around and around, and we're not really evolving or growing. We're kind of stuck in a purgatory mode. So that's why it's really important. Don't get into purgatory, right? Like, instead, really awaken, choose faith, love over fear and doubt, and you'll be all right. You'll be in alignment with the natural ebb and flow of life.
What about for those people who believe that we are creators of our destiny and we have free will? How does numerology play a part with that?
Oh, that's a great question. We do have a destiny. However, we're manifesting all the time. And I'm just going to break that down a little bit, okay? Because there's a lot of confusion about that. Well, if everything's already mapped out, or we already have a destiny, what does manifesting have to do with it? So I'll give you this example. Let's say your destiny is to help others, assist others. That can look so many different ways. Let's say your destiny is like, you knew that as a young child you were finding wounded creatures and nursing them back to health. You were always had this comforting presence about you. Your destiny is to heal or help others. However, the manifesting part is that how that gets expressed is completely up to you. You could be an acupuncturist, you could be a therapist, you could be a brain surgeon, you could be a veterinarian. I mean, the list is so endless, and that is completely up to you, because it's the same expression, only, being expressed in different various ways. But it's all one and the same, of course. It's all about healing and helping. So that's your destiny. But the manifestation part is you get to create, how it gets expressed, and also your experience of it and your outcomes. That is up to you. If you want to create it to be an incredible experience, you be incredibly successful and happy doing so, that's completely up to you. Because everybody knows we're telling ourselves stuff all the time, and that is manifesting. And we're always informing ourselves. We're always making meanings. We're assigning meanings to things that don't inherently come with meaning. And that gives us our experience and our outcome. The problem is we often do this unconsciously and not realize that we're actually the ones creating it. It's completely up to us. But when we awaken to it, we notice it, and we see it. We assume responsibility for it. And this is how we ensure we get the experiences and the outcomes that we want in life. So imagine life is so beautiful that the whole process of life is just as satisfying and rewarding as those destinations or those goals being achieved and attained. That's what we're here to discover. We have it backwards. We think, oh, I'm going to breathe a sigh of relief and be happy when I finally have this thing, or finally do, this thing or whatever, and then I'll be happy. And no, it's not about that. It's about feeling that satisfaction and that happiness while you're manifesting. And then here comes the outcome that you intended, and you go, ah, but of course, wonderful. Yes, and it's not going to make you any more happier. It's just a natural outcome to follow the process of materializing it. So free will is something that we to me, what I have discovered free will to mean is exercising and doing something that is off your course or your destiny. That to me is what free will is. If my destiny is this and I'm on this course and everything, if I want to get off that track, if I want to get off my path and doubt where I'm going and do something different, I'm exercising my free will to do so. That's the way I relate to it. That's what it means to me. So whereas destiny and manifesting consciously or in alignment and go hand in hand together. A lot of people ask me, well, what is my purpose? So we always have to look and see, well, what truly makes us happy that was not informed or influenced by our upbringing or society. So we want to look back at what were we interested in when we were 5 years old. But what's interesting is that your number, the day you were born, has a lot to do with informing you about what your purpose is or what your destiny is, in case you're not clear.
Well, two things. You spoke about making things mean something and your birth date. And so what I have an example is, it's often that I just happen to be looking at the clock to see what time it is, and I see my birth date, whether it's the middle of the night or in the evening. And so what does that mean?
When you say you notice your birth date?
Right, like my birth date is May 21st. So I happen to just coincidentally look at the clock either in the morning and see 5:21 or in the evening and see 5:21.
That's great. I love that. My mother says the same thing. She sees 3:16. So 5:21. When we notice reoccurring numbers and when we see numbers showing up, it could be our birth date, it could be just random numbers. It could be like, I'm always seeing 222 or 333. When we see these patterns, if you will, this consistency, we always want to, yes, inquire and ask, what does this mean? And the first place to look is, what are the energies that are connected to those numbers? Now you have a 2 and a 1. Okay. And combined, that's a 3, which is interesting because it's socializing, it's groups, it's organizations, it's groups of people. You're bringing groups of people together. You're reaching groups of people. You have followers. That's a group of people. You also have the 2, which is partnerships. Anytime you're doing an interview, this is a partnership right here. Being expressed. The 1 being someone who has a unique individual idea that brings it out into the world, that has leadership qualities, that is an independent person. So you're reflecting, your destiny is perfect, and you're manifesting on track with who you are and what your purpose is here. And also, oh boy, now I'm going to jump into astrology just a little bit. Now you've got like your astrological sign of Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. Hello, right? Look at you. You're a big communicator. So you're in perfect alignment with your purpose in life. And when you see your birth date, it's like an opportunity to check in with yourself, to check in and see if your expression of who you are is on path. Are you veering off path? Maybe it's even a time to reflect about the progress that you've made. We often don't do that. We don't really check in with the progress and the things that we have to be grateful for and to celebrate. Often we're doing well and we go, okay, that's done. What's next? Okay, that we don't spend that time really looking at that. And when we do, if you see your birthday and you think about how am I doing in the world, 1-800, how am I manifesting? How am I doing in the world? What do I have to be grateful about? This is a great time to reflect upon yourself and put that attention on yourself. Maybe you've been putting it out too much. Maybe you've been scattering your energies too much and doing too much and multitasking. So it's time to reel it in and be a reflective and check in with yourself.
Do you think that you always have to keep manifesting? Because I've noticed that when I take my foot off the gas, things stop happening.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of people think manifesting is like a yoga class or something. It's something that they do and then don't do, and they can kind of pop in and pop out, and it's something that's optional, but it's not optional. It's absolutely our birthright. And you've even had so many guests from with the NDEs that have come back and said, we're here to create. We're here to, awaken to our creative abilities and take responsibility for it. We are creators. And it's so true, because when you think about life in its most fundamental levels, it's all about creating something, experience what we created. Create something and experience it. Create and experience. And that's all that's ever really going on. So we don't want to fall asleep at the wheel of our lives, because that's how we end up unconsciously creating the things that we don't want. So if you ever wondered, why am I getting stuff I don't want? I have a desire for this, I'm not getting it. It's because we're unconsciously creating. So we need to awaken to that and own and take responsibility for the creator that we are, embrace it, and then also discover the tools. Like I give my clients, I give them the tools and the knowledge, the perspective to apply the tools so that they can produce anything and everything they want. The sky is the limit. There's no boundaries. We are limitless creators. We're the ones that create the boundaries or the limitations, but they don't actually exist. And so we tap into that, we apply these tools, and now we're every single day living the perfect day, living the ideal day that we create. And there's no way I'm going to stop manifesting or go to sleep at the wheel, because I know I'm going to at best get an okay day. But I'm up to experiencing an incredible day. I'm up to expanding my imagination, coming up with whatever and anything that I want to create, and actually just showing up and allowing it to unfold, and then looking back and going 100% of what I wanted got created. And it truly happened every single day. Because I can do that, why would I choose anything less? Why would I? So manifesting is something that we cannot opt out of. It's something that we're doing no matter what. So it behooves us to absolutely become a master at manifesting. This is our purpose in life.
So do you recommend something like every day we get up in the morning and try to manifest our day's events?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everything will happen that we created, as long as we are not being inauthentic. And what that means is creating our way of being, how we show up in the world, who we are being will dictate what we create, our experience of it, our outcome. So as long as we're not creating our lives from a place of fear, then it has to be. If we're creating from a place of love, which is the opposite, then everything that you want will show up exactly the way you want it to. And I've been doing this over 22 years, and I've had nothing but consistent 100% success with the clients that I work with, each and every one of them. So this is designed for all of us, because all of us are manifestors and creators. Some of us just may not have the tools that are effectively work or work consistently. And, that's what the AOM system is all about. And that's my gift to the world, and the gift that I've received for myself as well. I'm a participant. So yes, you can absolutely do that. you have the power to do that. But if we create from a place that's inauthentic, such as doubt or fear, unmotivated, we're being a procrastinator, all of these things are fear-based ways of being that we and only we solely create for ourselves. It doesn't matter what's going on around us, the circumstances going on around us. It's an illusion that they need to inform us. It's an illusion that they are the deciding factor of what goes on in our lives. Because what's interesting that people discover when they work with me is that they go, oh my God, all I have to do is be responsible for me and what I create. And anything that's out of alignment or inauthentic around me becomes fluid and actually aligns to me, ends up moving, and we go and we become harmonious, we become aligned versus misaligned, and everything turns into a win-win situation. Because we all want the same thing, success and happiness. We all do. We just don't have the tools. Some of us don't have the tools to create that success and happiness, but it's attainable and it's there to be had.
In some ways, manifestation seems like work. Why is that?
Oh my God, I love this question. It seems like work. Well, it only seems like work if you say so. Because the truth is, when I work with my clients, they're spending about 15 minutes in the morning and about 15 minutes at night working my system. It's like, you know what? It's like watering a garden. What do? You go and you tend to it, give it a little food, give it a little water, you tend to it, then you go about your day. You let it go, let the energy flow, let it grow. You don't sit there and, toil over it. You got to give it some space to grow. And then you come back again and you tend to it, you let it do its thing. There's so much about a garden where, do you notice how much it's doing its thing and how really little you have to do with it? Because those seeds have everything that it needs in order to turn into a cherry tree or an avocado tree or whatever, an artichoke or whatever it is that you're growing. Like, it's doing so much of the work. And it's the same thing here. The universe will take care of the details: who, what, when, where, how. And we try to take that on. That's not our job. We don't have to do that. We don't need to do that. All we have to do is be clear about what it is that we want to create and feed that desire by generating the energy of what it is like living in that reality. We're creating that energy, and that energy then materializes. It shows up on the physical plane. When you go back to NDEs, isn't it interesting how they always say, yeah, well, we're on the other side. All we do is think of something and it materializes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing is going on here, but we have this other thing called, a dense reality. So we have to move, it moves slower here, but it's the same thing, but it moves slower. And the good news about it moving slower, if you want to change your mind, you can. I don't think you can do that on the other side. I want an apple. Well, I can't change my mind and go pear, but there it is. There's the apple. So, there is, that's one way to look at it. If you feel impatient about what you're manifesting, don't, because everything will materialize exactly right on time at the perfect time.
Sterling, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that? And if so, how do they contact you?
Yes, absolutely. They can contact me through info@getyourlifenow.com or go to the website, getyourlifenow.com. There's also the YouTube channel, the AOM Art of Manifestation channel. The book, the AOM System Manifestation Mastery in 30 Days, is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. So yes, absolutely. I encourage people to reach out.
Do you have anything else that you're working on that you want us to know about?
At the moment, not really anything new other than work with people and helping them bring their dreams into reality. I am going to be writing a book eventually on the art of communicating, because we create everything through language, and words are so important and powerful. And I think that we could all, benefit from better communications and better manifestations. So,
Well, before we wrap it up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
absolutely. I think it's really important, again, for us to take responsibility for being manifestors. I know in my heart and my soul that every single person out here in the world, out there in the world, is absolutely important, and that they are destined, it is part of their destiny to be that master of a manifester in their lives, to live the life that they desire. All of this is so easy and so attainable. And this is what I want to leave people with, is to know that you matter, you count, create from a place of love, and you will have a heaven on earth existence.
Sterling, thank you for your message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.